Ready for question 4?
Nope. Sure.
For the hot sauce?
Okay.
All right, so this one's going to be the worst memory in Airsoft.
Boy.
Memory or memories.
Oh, there's probably a few memories. Let's start there.
Well, that one smells,
Oh, that smells hot.
but it's not.
Yeah, right. You. There you go.
Thank you.
Oh, man. I got my tooth shot out.
Oh yeah.
Listen, this thing right here.
I forgot about
Let me
that.
tell you something. We were just walking, again, hiking. We weren't even really doing. We were just hiking, trying to go around some. We were in the middle of a field next to some woods, and some sniper who I'd never ever saw shot me right in the tooth
Yep.
and cracked it right in half. And it didn't hurt, but it did hurt. Like it hurt, but not. It wasn't the end of the world. Like take me to the emergency room. So I ended up going back once we got back to Ohio, and here's the worst part. I went to my dentist, and he rebuilt it crooked and all jacked up.
Oh no.
Oh, man.
And it's never been right. And I've had it rebuilt twice, and it just keeps breaking. So I'm really going to have it just crowned.
Yeah.
But to crown that one, they're like, well, you got to crown both in the front. I'm like, all right. So now I just have a wonky tooth from Airsoft. Thank you. That was...
You had your warrior wound.
I think that day is when you contemplate whether or not you wanted to be an airsoft anymore.
Well, I did. Probably was one of the last times I played, I think, actually.
I have to agree with that. Yeah, yeah.
I just, I came straight out of the trailer park. Because now I'm like, trying to talk to people. I've gotten used to it, but...
we need some rednecks for this event coming up.
Oh, my God, yes. So, that was probably one of the worst moments for me.
I felt so bad that day. I was like, fucking, we're out in the middle of nowhere at this event, and, I don't know if you need me to take you somewhere, and I asked you a couple times, and you're like, no, you're good, and then you're pissed off all day. And then you couldn't really eat because it would hurt.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah, I was like, God, I don't know what to do for you, man.
it was like the root was exposed, and it wasn't hurting, but if I breathed too hard...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh, yeah. It was rough. Some of those... Huber, can I say the place? Some of those I-70 events were some of the worst experiences. I mean, as fun as the castle was, it was terrible. Getting into it was fun.
Yeah.
If we would have done it, but having people inside it, it was just people were just getting hurt because they were shooting.
It's because the opposing force wouldn't listen to us.
That's true.
They acted as if...
Hi, puppy.
Does that one have a red light on it, too?
What?
Mine has a red light.
Oh, it does?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just didn't notice it before. Anyways, so we would have some people inside. So you'd storm into the castle, and there'd be an opposing force of 6 people. And then those 6 people weren't supposed to hose you down like they were just trying to dump on you, They were supposed to be there to kind of get shot a little bit and die.
Positive resistance, but...
Right.
Yeah, but they would act like they're there holding off this infinity force or something. It was like, no, this is supposed to give these people an experience that they can enjoy, so they'll want to come back.
Yeah.
Not so that you could just want to be on this 6-man team and just dunk on people. It's the wrong dynamic there. But when G2 would do it, it would be good. But we often would need us to run the event and stuff like that. We couldn't be players because we just didn't have enough people back then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just had regular players in there.
Yeah.
And that was always a rough one. Or, again, back to night games, playing against people with night vision.
Mm-hmm.
Where a guy goes out and spends $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 on thermals.
Yeah.
And we're trying to play in the dark, and it's like, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
That's some of the worst.
Still an issue today, and now we separate it with flashlight only nights.
Yeah.
So there's no NVGs, no nothing that night, and then some nights we'll have it where you can wear your NVGs and stuff. And still, then you only get a group of 5, 6 people that come out with the NVGs, and of course they're all on one team. So then it's the other team just gets dunked on.
Yeah. It's can we split you up?
And then there's always complaining about it and stuff, and it's well, I mean, for one, it's you came to a night game where we advertise that there's night vision allowed.
Right.
So in a sense, you have to understand like that's going to be part of the dynamic.
Yeah.
But the problem is too that you get these new players that come in, they don't understand that.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And then they get a sour taste in their mouth from it. So
Right.
the last night game we did, it was just basically like an open play in Camp Victory, and we even put some lights out on the field, some solar lights, a little kind of brighten up the field.
Put shadows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll put shadows, and some of them were motion sensitive,
Oh,
so
nice.
they'd turn on real bright,
That's cool.
and just add a little different dynamic to it. We're going to get some other more like street lamp light ones that are kind of bright, so like this section could be really bright, and that will be really bright. So we can have that on even when we're doing NVG nights, so that NVGs are still
It's
applicable.
still challenging. But
Yeah.
it makes them a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, but they won't be able to just be there and shit on people.
Yeah,
all
yeah,
night.
They
So is
can't
there just
annihilate.
is it a small NVG community? Because I mean they're not cheap, right? So
They're not.
They're not.
how many people would you say probably have NVGs locally that even are eligible to come
Locally,
play?
I can think of like maybe 10.
Right?
10.
10 to 20 people.
Yeah.
But the problem is too is like not everybody's willing to travel very far these days and stuff like that. So there probably is a bigger community than what we're aware of. But
Anybody do night games
I don't know. I think.
other than you?
Well, I mean, so Heavy is trying to start up I-70 again.
Oh
doing
really?
night games,
Oh
yeah.
boy. Yeah, well.
There's a lot of things I like to say about that, but
Well, I just, how many people really have night vision? And
Right.
you would think if you had a night game, they would all show up because how often do they have an opportunity to go out and use their night vision for airsoft other than just dicking around in their backyard,
In the
with
backyard,
their friends?
for
you know?
sure.
And usually the people that have them are pretty older adults, it
Yes.
seem like.
yeah.
So,
They're the ones that can afford it.
Right.
I mean, it's not cheap buying NVGs.
Oh, yeah, I know. I mean,
Digital ones aren't all that great. I mean, because you have to use infrared to be able to see anything.
Right.
And
so I shouldn't buy the
near as
ones off
close.
Timu?
No,
Timu ones are no good?
I
you
bought a
might be
couple.
disappointed.
I bought a couple cheap digital ones because I was trying to look at like maybe renting them out so that the regulars could go out there and just kind of experience what it's like at a cheaper rate. But I mean, you're just out there with an infrared flashlight, just beaming everywhere. So like everybody's going to see everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's still not that bad if everybody had them.
Right.
But I don't know. We'll have to see because it's kind of the vision is like eventually, I think we're gonna get real night vision that we can rent out, and we'll just see how that works out. Get like
So not to get off topic, so why do you still do NVG nights?
why do we still do them?
Yeah, why do them at all?
Because there's still quite a crowd that kind of enjoys it,
Right.
and there's like even people on our team have started buying them.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh.
So like kind of getting back into that. So we don't do them as frequently, maybe like one or two
A year?
a year.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be good.
That's cool. I just didn't know because it seemed like that was always our biggest issues was the night games with the
Yeah.
NVGs always seemed to cause the most problems.
Oh, yeah. People
There used to be more NVG
get
people back in the day,
Yes. Yeah, when we were at Battleground, there was a lot.
even at I-70.
Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, I don't know. You got the economy that's just. So I mean, totally get it. Well, people don't want to invest in something that is that expensive. But,
Yeah.
But also, I think too, if you don't do it at all, then people don't know about it, so they can't think of maybe that's something that I want to save up for. So I mean, I know that there was one person who attended one of the NVG nights, didn't realize it was NVG, so he just had to run with flashlight. But yeah, he ended up saving money up and got him a decent set of NVGs. So,
Yeah.
you don't know what you don't know. So, I mean, that's the good thing about at least being a little diverse in the game modes or whatever, so that people who are newer to it or maybe even veterans of it and just have never done it before, it still gives them that avenue to explore.
That was not that hot.
Agreed.
No, wasn't that
I
hot.
told you guys, it doesn't start getting hot till like 6, maybe 7.
Oh, wonderful. Where are we at?
4.
Okay, just want to prepare myself. How about you guys? I mean, what was your worst experiences?
So what was your question?
When you think of worst experience, you've had more, so.
I would say the Huber Heights property.
Oh, God.
Oh yeah, that whole
What
thing.
a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad it didn't work out though, because I wouldn't want to have to deal with those neighbors day in and day out that were there. I mean, even with Tim being there, him being the owner of I-70, lying about a lot of stuff,
Right.
like just really, I can't even express like how freaking disappointed I am that. Other than he was just trying to do what he could to keep us out of his city because we're kind of competing with him in a sense, like. But I don't know. It's just really hate dishonest people, and like you could really tell that the neighbors were very misinformed, and like somebody was probably feeding them
Sure.
a bunch of misinformation.
Oh,
Sure.
absolutely.
They're talking about like how paintballs are killing pets and all that. Like, I mean, you're taking stories from back in the '60s or whatever and trying to apply them today when everything's more organic, more natural. They've been thoroughly tested by the FDA and all this other stuff. Not saying like the FDA is perfect or anything, but
Well, it's vegetable oil.
yeah, it's
Right. It's cornstarch and
It's
mineral oil and stuff like stuff that you can have. But then like the one lady was like, well, what if my dog comes over there and eats it and dies? I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, what's your dog doing off of your property?
right. Why is it
Right.
on my property?
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, I'd feel bad for your dog dying, but at the same time, like, you shouldn't be allowing it to run free in the neighborhood.
Now, I'm not sure that they taste real well, so I don't imagine dogs are really
Right, I
big
don't
into
think they're-
eating them.
Right. I
Yeah,
don't think they're
and-
going to continue doing it.
And then, of course, Tim's up there talking about how, like, it kills trees and all this other stuff. I'm like, then how did you have a woods basically dedicated for this
Yeah.
stuff? And you got inch thick of paint on some of these trees that have been there for 100
And they're
years. Like,
thriving.
and they're
They're
just
thriving.
fine. So, I mean, outside of that, I don't know, it's just typical business stuff,
Yeah, I don't think that I mean, anything that was on a business level, I never got, like, I think the thing that really made me angry the most is people saying on things on a personal level. Like, you don't know me. Don't say anything about my character because you have no idea. I am a super loving person and I'll love you wherever you stand. But don't personally dig at me. I mean, we sold properties of our own to invest in the company. I mean, this is Airsoft for us is a labor of love, and yeah, for it to have become personal, and it was just super vindictive, and I would never ever consider doing that to anybody. I mean, and I get it; it's business, and I'm sure he did feel that we were trampling on his territory, but that is not at all what our mindset was at all. We were just like, this is a perfect opportunity for
Yeah,
it.
it
The
just-
land was beautiful. I mean, it was a really good location. We thought it was going to be super easy for people to get there. And there was nothing vindictive on our part.
Yeah, we're just doing business,
Yeah, it was absolutely just business.
And if you don't want to take care of your field, you can't complain when another field person comes in and wants to actually do something to
Right.
make the community better, to make the sport better, all that stuff.
Well, you also have to look at the fact that it creates a culture in the area. I mean, so look at anything locally like Miller Lane, for instance, or
Yeah.
downtown Troy. Anywhere there's a conglomerate of businesses that are doing the same thing, it becomes less of a competition and more of a just creating a culture.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get an indoor in Huber and you got 2 outdoor fields in Huber, Huber then becomes a destination for airsoft and paintball. So people in Ohio go, Huber's where you want to go.
Yeah.
And so you bring more business in for everybody. I mean, that's the
absolutely.
point, not to compete against each other. Sure, there will be some
Oh, yeah.
competition, but competition makes you better,
Yes.
and makes you better service.
I mean,
and
improve your field, improve your services,
Yeah.
Meet a standard other than just, hey, I've got an acre of you to throw some plastic around, and people will enjoy it. They'll come there.
Yeah.
That's why we have such a cult following, in a sense, that no matter where we've gone, we've brought a lot of people,
Yeah.
because they know that they're going to get a good experience. I mean, not always. I mean, we do mess up.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're only
we're
human.
not perfect.
Yeah.
But, I mean, for the majority of it, you're going to have a great time. You're going to have a great experience. We're going to have the stuff that you want and all that stuff.
by that parking lot that's on the other side of his
I actually just took a photo of it yesterday, the other day.
the movie theater
Oh,
parking lot, or
gosh. Oh,
yeah, you
gosh.
just put a
It's just
indoor right
sitting there.
there.
It's never
It's
used.
never been used.
I was
They
thinking about-
built that thinking that 1,000 people are going to go to the movies every day. It's
Yeah.
never used.
It's
Yeah, well,
never-
so I was kind of looking into that, like how do you dictate how much parking space you need? And I guess there's like this old rule from way back in the day, like you have to have so much parking space per attendee.
Oh,
or
that
whatever.
probably makes sense per seat.
Yeah, and all that stuff, whatever. So like, and it's based on no data at all of why you have to have that and stuff. So I was actually contemplating like calling them up and be like, hey,
How
could
much?
I buy that?
You want to lease out that parking lot?
Yeah,
How much you want for that parking lot?
exactly.
They
Exactly.
put that self storage across the street where the other movie theater was. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they did a big indoor. They tore that theater down, so that should be funny though.
I thought about it, but at the same time, it's like, man, I don't even know if I want to deal with Huber Heights.
I know.
No,
Right.
I mean,
Then you're running into the same problem.
the regulations in Huber Heights were so strict, and then I don't know, just having to have a board kind of dictate what you can do with your own business was just kind of.
But what a
off-putting.
departure from our first experience with Battlegrounds, where we didn't ask anybody anything.
No, we didn't ask.
We didn't call a
nothing.
city builder. We didn't
No.
do nothing.
No.
We didn't call nobody, and we just did it like it was our backyard and we could do whatever we wanted.
Well, so that was all because like I had talked with Sasha since he's used to doing like major business stuff, and we were just kind of dipping our toes in that pool.
Yeah.
I was asking him like, do we need to have a permit and stuff? He's like, no, I've already got the commercial permit and everything
He's
to do
like,
whatever
oh,
I
wow.
want here. So I was
Right.
like, okay, cool, we're covered then. So like we're just technically operating underneath him as a business at this place.
With insurance, we had insurance.
And we had insurance and stuff, but
Which I'm sure he had none of this stuff.
yeah.
Oh no.
Probably not.
Probably not. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to say no.
Probably not, because like near the end there, he goes, "Did you guys ever get permits to operate here?" And I was like, "You told me you had that stuff. Like, what are you talking about, man?"
You had it.
Yeah. So, whatever. You live and you learn. So
That's funny.
Yeah. I mean, we
I even
learned
tried
a
to call
lot.
in the city of Dayton and ask them like what I needed to do and stuff, and they said as long as there's a, I could have sworn the lady even told me like as long as they have a permit there, you can operate. And I'm like, okay. Maybe she misunderstood my question or something. I don't know, but.
But the nature of the business is like shooting realistic looking guns at each other
Yeah.
just creates anxiety amongst local population.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm just surprised like what a difference between one field and going to Huber where it's like this huge controversy.
Oh yeah.
You know, I can think of a lot of other things in Huber that are issues. And,
Oh, for sure. And like that to me, I'm like, really? Yeah, because I think one of the biggest issues that they kept saying was, "Well, you guys are just gonna leave your trash all over." I'm like, what?
Yeah, they act like we were savages out there.
Yeah, I wanted to be like, what do you think that airsoft and paintball is? Because there's no trash really involved, and there's things called trash cans. Like, we'll make sure they're out there.
And then they were trying to talk about like how these BBs will last 100 years out there.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're biodegradable for one.
let me ask you this question though. Do you ever think that that's because that's the city of Dayton's experience with Tim's Field? Where it's always trashy. You go out there, there's trash everywhere, BBs and
maybe, I
paint
don't
everywhere,
know.
and that's what
Yeah.
they've come to
Yeah, maybe-
expect.
Maybe he created that type of standard.
You
I
know?
don't know,
I
but
don't
he's
know.
even got a pond right next to him. What you would think they'd be able to like, the city would have some data then on what it's like to have a field there, and it seemed like they didn't have any problems with it other than like the fire stuff from what happened out there. Because like they were like, well, looking at your website, all your pictures and everything, oh, you got all this smoke everywhere. It's like, yeah, they're smoke grenades, like.
Legal smoke grenades.
Yeah, and like they dissipate after like 100 feet. You know what I mean? Like you can't.
Yeah, you'll
even-
never see it
You'll
on your
never
property.
see it. You know, if you step off the property. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm glad it worked out because now we got Hidden Spring Ranch.
Right.
But you know, I mean, it is what it is. So, I'm glad it worked out that way. Because man, can you imagine if we did fight that and then was there and then we have to deal with them calling the cops
Oh my
every.
gosh, that would have been bad.
Like they'll find like one person who's being a tool and shot a BB and it landed on their property and they'd be calling the cops on us.
I
or
mean,
something.
just owning it the short time we did, we got umpteen letters because our grass was too long, and I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, I was like,
I mean, the
I'm mowing
grass
it
was-
exactly like the farmer that was
Right,
there.
like we
You never
we were-
bothered him.
Yeah, it was just kind of like it was literally. I think we were just like personally attacked, and people just had a total vendetta against us, and I was just like, we just need to go.
Is that like buying property and finding out that the storm drainage system needed to be updated and they didn't make the original owners. But when you buy it,
But
all of
when
a
you
sudden
buy
it's
it,
your
yeah.
problem.
Yeah, also now it's an issue. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Now you're flooding my field.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So that makes
Oh
sense.
gosh.
They couldn't attack the farmer. He was too juiced in. But they could attack these new people.
Yeah, I mean, even that buying the property was a pain in the ass because, like, come to find out there were hidden fees and stuff that our
gosh,
realtor never
yes.
even told us about when purchasing that property. Because when agricultural land is being farmed, it's in this farmers program, and like I knew that I had to pay tax on it and stuff, but they didn't tell me that I had to pay on it for like the past 5 years or whatever. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like I would have talked down the price on that property even more than to cover that because I think we had to spend out 20 grand
Yeah.
on
No, 22,000.
22,000 on just the tax, the back tax. Like, why am I paying the back tax
Yeah, I
we
didn't.
for a
didn't own
farmer?
I didn't own the property.
Yeah, we didn't own
Yeah.
it then.
Welcome to the government.
Yeah.
Taxes.
And then they were asking too when we went to buy it, like, were we going to take it out of the farm program? So I was like, well, I don't even know if we can get the permit yet, like, to operate here. So like, I don't know if I want to. Like, well, you have to decide now. And I'm like, then yes, we're going to take it out.
Should have kept it in.
And then
Airsoft cornfield.
Yeah.
and yeah,
Just have at it, boys. There's a cornfield.
Cornfield.
There's a big flag up in the middle.
We're just gonna
Yeah.
mow.
But it was overall a pain in the ass.
Oh
Yeah, it
my
was
gosh,
definitely.
a nightmare.
there was another pain in the ass part, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head now.
I mean, we had to go to what, 4 or 5 city council meetings?
Oh, yeah, that
I
reminds
remember
me.
reading about that.
So I wanted to originally buy the property based on the condition that we could get the permit. And the city was telling us you can't do that.
can't
You
do
have
that.
to buy the property first. Yet when we go into those damn meetings that we were trying to get the permit for, there was another guy in there selling his land to somebody to build those storage units
Based on the
fact that they could get the permit to build there.
God, Jesus.
I was like, so why is there this double standard?
Mm.
It was definitely a lack of communication.
Yeah, and they had this whole thing too where like all the OG people that were working there, they were jumping ship
Yeah.
leaving. It was during COVID, stuff like that or whatever. They were jumping ship and new people were coming in. Then they had these temporary people step in. Like they were trying to tell us like we couldn't even put up signs on the property. You know, like I think somebody had it out for us.
Oh,
honestly,
absolutely.
within the city. Because Tim also did have friends apparently on the board, and he was serving them coffee
He
that
was
morning
bringing
and
them
stuff.
coffee.
Yep. And so I was just like, okay, like this is a
Disaster from the
yeah,
beginning.
Yeah.
it's
But it
just-
didn't discourage you, and you ended up in a much better location.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because at least now I have the knowledge and the experience and all that stuff with getting it done. It's extremely tough to get an outdoor field properly done.
Right. I can imagine.
All right, shall we go on to number 5 here?
I guess so.
You've been stalling long enough.
I
Number
tried.
5.
And I tried. I drug my feet.
All right. Oh yeah, this is the thick one.
Oh, great. Thick. Oh, boy.
Habanero, that one's really good.